A Roman villa was a Roman country house built for the upper class during the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. Typology and distribution. According to Pliny the Elder, there were two kinds of villas. The villa urbana, which was a country seat that could easily be reached from Rome for a night or two, and the villa rustica, the farmhouse estate permanently occupied by the servants who generally had charge of the estate. The villa rustica centered on the villa itself, perhaps only seasonally occupied. Under the Empire there was a concentration of imperial villas near the Bay of Naples, especially on the Isle of Capri, at Monte Circio on the coast and at Antium. Wealthy Romans escaped the summer heat in the hills round Rome, especially around Frascati. Cicero is said to have possessed no fewer than 7 villas, the oldest of which was near Arpinum, which he inherited. Pliny the Younger had 3 or 4, of which the example near Laurentum is the best known from his descriptions. The empire contained many kinds of villas, not all of them lavishly appointed with mosaic floors and frescoes. In the provinces, any country house with some decorative features in the Roman style may be called a villa by modern scholars. Some were pleasure houses, such as those, like Hadrian's villa at Tivoli, that were sited in the cool hills within easy reach of Rome, or, like the villa of the Papyri at Herculaneum, on picturesque sites overlooking the Bay of Naples. Some villas were more like the country houses of England or Poland, the visible seat of power of a local magnate, such as the famous palace rediscovered at Fishbourne in Sussex. Suburban villas on the edge of cities were also known, such as the Middle and late Republican villas that encroached on the Campus Martius, at that time on the edge of Rome, and which can be also seen outside the city walls of Pompeii. These early suburban villas, such as the one at Rome's Auditorium site or at Grotta Rossa in Rome, demonstrate the antiquity and heritage of the villa suburbana in central Italy. It is possible that these early, suburban villas were also in fact the seats of power of regional strongmen or heads of important families. A third type of villa provided the organizational center of the large holdings called latifunda, that produced and exported agricultural produce. Such villas might be lacking in luxuries. By the 4th century, villa could simply connote an agricultural holding. Jerome translated the Gospel of Mark Koran, describing the olive grove of Gethsemane, with villa, without an inference that there were any dwellings there at all. Architecture of the villa complex. By the 1st century BC, the classic villa took many architectural forms, with many examples employing atrium or peristyle for enclosed spaces open to light and air. Upper-class, wealthy Roman citizens in the countryside around Rome and throughout the empire lived in villa complexes, the accommodation for rural farms. The villa complex consisted of 3 parts. The pars urbana, where the owner and his family lived. This would be similar to the wealthy persons in the city and would have painted walls. The pars rustica, where the chef and slaves of the villa worked and lived. This was also the living quarters for the farm's animals. There would usually be other rooms here that might be used as storerooms, a hospital and even a prison. The villa fructuaria would be the storage rooms. These would be where the products of the farm were stored ready for transport to buyers. Storage rooms here would have been used for oil, wine, grain, grapes and any other produce of the villa. Other rooms in the villa might include an office, a temple for worship, several bedrooms, a dining room and a kitchen. Villas were often furnished with plumbed bathing facilities and many would have had an underfloor central heating known as the hypocaust. Social history. A villa might be quite palatial, such as the villas of the imperial period, built on seaside slopes overlooking the Bay of Naples at Baiae. Others were preserved at Stabiri and Herculaneum by the ashfall and mudslide from the eruption of Vesuvius in 79 AD, which also preserved the villa of the Papyri and its libraries. Roman writers refer with satisfaction to the self-sufficiency of their villas, where they drank their own wine and pressed their own oil, a commonly used literary topos. An ideal Roman citizen was the independent farmer tilling his own land, and the agricultural writers wanted to give their readers a chance to link themselves with their ancestors through this image of self-sufficient villas. The truth was not too far from the image, either. While even the profit-oriented latifungers probably grew enough of all the basic foodstuffs to provide for their own consumption, the late Roman Republic witnessed an explosion of villa construction in Italy, especially in the years following the dictatorship of Sulla. In Etruria, the villa at Settefinstra has been interpreted as being the center of one of the latifunga, or large slave-run villas, that were involved in large-scale agricultural production. At Settefinstra and elsewhere, the central housing of such villas was not richly appointed. Other villas in the hinterland of Rome are interpreted in light of the agrarian treatises written by the elder Cato, Columella and Varro, all of whom sought to define the suitable lifestyle of conservative Romans, at least in idealistic terms. Large villas dominated the rural economy of the Po Valley, Campania, and Sicily, and also operated in Gaul. Villas were centers of a variety of economic activity such as mining, pottery factories, or horse-raising such as those found in northwestern Gaul. Villas specializing in the seagoing export of olive oil to Roman legions in Germany became a feature of the southern Iberian province of Hispania. By Etica, some luxurious villas have been excavated in North Africa in the provinces of Africa and Numidia, or at Fishbourne in Britannia. Certain areas within easy reach of Rome offered cool lodgings in the heat of summer. Maecenas asked what kind of house could possibly be suitable at all seasons. The Emperor Hadrian had a villa at Tibur, in an area that was popular with Romans of rank. Hadrian's villa was more like a palace, as Nero's palace. His domisuria on the Palatine Hill in Rome was disposed in groupings in a planned rustic landscape, more like a villa. Cicero had several villas. Pliny the Younger described his villas in his letters. The Romans invented the seaside villa. A vignette in a frescoed wall at the house of Lucretius Fronta in Pompeii still shows a row of seafront pleasure houses, all with porticos along the front, some rising up in porticoed tiers to an altana at the top that would catch a breeze on the most stifling evenings. Some late Roman villa had luxuries like hypocaust heated rooms with mosaic floors. Mosaics are known even from Britannia. As the Roman Empire collapsed, villas in Britannia were abandoned. In other areas some at least survived. Large working villas were donated by aristocrats and territorial magnates to individual monks, often to become the nucleus of famous monasteries. In this way, the villa system of late antiquity was preserved into the early Middle Ages. Saint Benedict established his influential monastery of Monte Cassino in the ruins of a villa at Subiaco that had belonged to Nero, around 590. Saint Eligius was born in a highly placed Gallo-Roman family at the Villa of Chapter late near Limoges, in Aquitaine. The abbey at Stavelot was founded California 650 on the domain of a former villa near Legion. The abbey of Vezelay had a similar founding. As late as 698, Willibrord established an abbey at a Roman villa of Ectornache, in Luxembourg near Trier, which Ermina, daughter of Dagobert II, king of the Franks, presented to him. Attested Roman villas. Hadrian's villa at Tivoli, Italy. Villa Armira near Ivane-Lovgrad, Bulgaria. House of Antiope, at the Museum of Mosaics in Divnia, Bulgaria. Fishbourne Roman Palace and Bigna Roman Villa in West Sussex, England. Lullingstone Roman Villa in Kent, England. Villa Romana del Casale in Piazza Armerino, Sicily, Italy. Chedworth Roman Villa in Gloucestershire. Littlecote Roman Villa in Wiltshire. Villa Romana in Idstone, Malta. Villa of the Mysteries, Pompeii. House of Menander, Pompeii. List of Roman villas in Belgium. Laura Olmedo Roman Villa in Palencia, Spain. Roman Villa Borg, Germany.